Welcome to Lynn Cullen Live. Talk radio without the static. Email your questions and comments to lynncullenshow@gmail.com. And now your host, Lynn Cullen.
Yeah, that would be moi. How you doing? Welcome to the program. It'd be the 19th of September. It's a Tuesday, and that means Susan's there.
Yeah.
Okay. All
right. I am. I'm here. Here I am.
Okay, there she is. All right. So, not that you would know, Susan, but the Steelers played a Monday night game last night. And,
yeah, I wasn't watching. What happened?
Well, it's astonishing. The Steelers won, but here's the thing. It was like a win where the next day everybody is like miserable. I mean, how does that happen? None of our guys got. You know what happened? I've never seen a game like this. The defense outscored the offense. I couldn't believe it. The defense, all the touchdowns. No, there was one touchdown the offense did, but the majority, the defense got two. It was.
Well, can we take your defense and put it with the Packers offense and have one good team?
Yeah. Well, the Packers are looking better than the Steelers, I assure you. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. It was actually, I have to tell you, I didn't watch it till the end. I thought this is just so, it was just depressing. So, and there was, again, there was one of those, what's called, this is the word they use, gruesome, a gruesome injury to a player. So gruesome that there was no one, if you missed, I mean, they wouldn't do a replay.
No, because his leg fell off or something?
Yeah, some of his leg was like in a place where it wouldn't normally, his knee, I can't involve the knee and this poor soul. And again, it brings up this, the gladiator aspect of the sport is just disgusting. It really is disgusting. And yet we watch. Yeah. We're no different than humans are the same as the guys wearing togas in the.
Well, we give them medical treatment. We're slightly better, maybe.
Oh, God. Dear God. Okay, so there was that. I just had to say something. And how late did you have to stay up to watch the damn game? Excuse me. Well, I didn't watch the whole thing. I gave up. I said, in the morning, you'll find out what the score was. So I was stunned when I saw that they won. They had no offense at all. Zero. Unbelievable. Like one play was, I don't know. It was, it doesn't matter. Unbelievable. So, I guess there's a lot going on, most of which I don't want to talk about. I do want to note that the governor of Pennsylvania announced today something wonderful. And who knew that the governor could do this just on his own? So I wonder why it wasn't done long before. The governor has said that anytime a person in Pennsylvania renews their driver's license and/or
they are automatically registered to vote.
Exactly.
That's what happened. That's what happened in Wisconsin when the registration is right next to, your driver's license thing. And it's a big computer that says, while you're here, register to vote. And it's not automatic, but they're doing their best to get you to do it. So the same day I just sat at the computer and I typed in my stuff and there I was registered.
I'm surprised about that because, Wisconsin is the.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, that they would make anything easier for a voter is amazing to me. I'm sure that the Republicans, managed to find a little time after throwing out the people's choices in all kinds of offices and the Supreme Court. While
screaming that the Democrats are screwing up the elections as they're busily refusing to accept any choice. I mean, it's just how they can scream so loudly. I don't get.
Well, I guess who knows? It's why I don't want to. I don't even want to talk about it.
Because it's just nonsensical.
Yeah, what they've done here is it's an automatic voter registration. Something you have to opt out rather than saying to somebody you have to actively sign up to vote. This way, if for some reason you don't want to vote, you're going to have to say, I don't want to be a registered voter, which most people, of course, will not bother saying.
Well, you just don't vote, but you don't have to.
That's right. So,
but if you wake up in the morning and say, I feel like voting, there's no impediment. So that's wonderful.
There's no doubt that this will mean more people will actually bother.
So you have an election today, a local election to decide your house?
The House of Representatives of the House there's an election right here in the Pittsburgh area.
Yeah. Made national news. That's how I know it.
Did it really?
Yeah, because it'll flip. If the right person wins, it'll flip the House.
Well, yeah, the House is deadlocked right now. With the Democrats won the House by one seat in the last election. But one of the Democrats in the House left her seat, which is why the special election, to run for Allegheny County Executive. So that created the need for this special election in only one district. Now, the fact that it was a Democratic district suggests that it will be a Democrat that will win, but you never know.
You don't know, and you're tampering with it, right?
The Democratic candidate that is running is a black woman. The district is overwhelmingly white. The Republicans have put up a lunatic, as somebody who was in Washington, D.C. on January 6th. So shall we just say that? So I'm sure that the county Democrats here have gotten very well organized. So I have little doubt that they will get the vote out as much as they need to and win this race. But if you're in that district, you go vote. Okay, so there's one other thing. I've been asked to comment on it. I was avoiding commenting on it because it seemed like, given all the stuff that's going on, it seems so stupid. But this is the kind of thing that people, and I have to admit, I'm kind of two minds. This has to do with the Senate Majority Leader, the very quiet Chuck Schumer, right?
Yeah.
The Senate has announced that the old dress code that I guess was never put down in writing, it was just understood, will no longer be enforced. And a lot of people say this is so
better men can show up.
That is correct. Speaking of slight margins, right? Yeah. So
well, he does add a certain amount of fun to the Senate floor, to the Senate chambers. I mean, when they're interviewing him about the planned impeachment of Biden, he's standing there going, "Ooh, I'm so scared." I mean, it's fun to see a senator acting like that every once in a while.
Well, I'm of two minds. I don't generally, I don't know. The dress code was a bunch of nonsense in the first place. Who destroyed it? Senator Sinema.
Why? She was wearing spaghetti straps? Why?
Well, yeah, worse than that. You don't remember the kind of stuff she wears? She dresses like a friggin' clown. I mean, just outrageous stuff. Little poodle skirts and she's gone in with wearing pink wigs. Okay.
Yeah.
So much. Okay. So I'm just saying, fine. So we're in a new era in which younger people.
Well, you know what? I do have feelings about this, and I'll tell you why. I think they should all be go back to suits and business attire, and if for no other reason than to remind them that they are supposed to be about serious business. Serious business.
All right, stop. Here's where you sound right. Now, this is something that I can relate to because I have that. What you just said is in my head too. We must have been brought up that way, that the way you dress shows respect for your position, for your situation. So,
and for those that you're working with.
Right. So it's simply a sign of respect. So that part of me that you and I were taught as part of our values is what makes me a little queasy about this. I really don't think a U.S. senator should show up on the floor wearing what
Fetterman usually wears. I agree.
Nor did I think Sinema was properly dressed. But Susan, this is a very old fuddy-duddy kind.
No. Sometimes I don't think so, and I'll tell you why. If these people were behaving in a serious fashion in the first place, I wouldn't care at all. But they seem to need reminding of who they are and what they are and why they are. And letting them devolve. Well, too bad. I mean, sometimes you just need a visual reminder. Too bad. I'm not allowing them to. No, I don't know.
It doesn't work. Here's the other thing I just want to say. I mean, this is why I'm on both sides. I don't have a clue. I remember ranting. This must be ages ago, sort of sounding like you did when you first started talking about, the way it's supposed to be and showing respect. I did that rant decades ago when I saw people walking into
church and synagogue wearing...
Yes. Not synagogue. I did not see it in the synagogue.
Well, it's there now.
Okay. It was church and wearing, shorts, flip-flops, T-shirts. And I remember I thought, what? And I did this rant about you show respect, that how you dress affects your sense of where you are and what your the seriousness of where you are and blah, blah, blah. Well, I was blown away because people came at me totally disagreeing. I mean, and what they said is, it boiled down to this. Jesus doesn't care what you're wearing. He just wants you to go.
Well, I got news for them. Jesus' dad does care. And he makes all these rules about how you cover your head or don't cover your head, what you show, what you don't show. So, first of all, If you were going to come at me and say that's just such a class argument that, if you can afford to dress up and look good, that you're a better, Christian or Jew than those that can't. And that's not the issue. If you are poor and can't dress up, you can still clean up. You can still show respect the best you can. And you go in. And I know it's not about the clothes. Yes, it is about the attitude and your attempt to be respectful to the place and the times. And Jesus Peasus, his dad would care. And there's all sorts of minuscule rules about it. And by the way, Jesus cares whether you're kneeling or not. So apparently, and we don't do that. Yeah.
Well, you started out this conversation saying you liked Fetterman being, and look where you've ended up.
No, I like him being playful in an appropriate way. He was also dressed properly for him. He didn't have a tie on, but he had long pants and monochromatic, and he looked good.
Okay, so here's the thing. Of course, the Republicans are going to bring.
I also think that he is respectful of the institutions.
Yeah, I do too. I don't know. I don't know what to say anymore. Everything's changing so rapidly. I was reading an article the other day about these younger people getting into Congress and other things are pushing back against having to wear suits. It's not part of what they do. I mean, it doesn't mean
they don't even own them. They're too expensive.
Right. Yeah, you can just wear, a shirt and there's a way of being respectfully dressed without having to have a necktie on if you're a guy. But I think, Fetterman in shorts is not proper attire.
Yeah, no, I don't think it is
for that position. I
know, and if he decides he wants to be a senator, he has to give up his shorts.
He's on the floor, because he's in the Capitol looking like that, which I also sort of think, oh, come on. I mean, it's part of the brand, and he's of this new school where branding is incredibly important because he knows that we are a culture that we've been taught.
Yeah.
Madison Avenue taught that we, things appeal to us or don't, and we have brand loyalties or not, and it's all about image and all of this. All of this makes me sick. It just makes me queasy.
I do too, because you know why? But to go back to what I'm saying, because it places the individual over the institution. And in this situation, I am really tired of individuals placing themselves over our institutions and ruining them, breaking them. Ooh.
Right. Well,
one on each side. We got a pro and a con.
Well, you don't know. We have two callers, we are being told. So in you come, guys. Hello. I don't know who's first.
Well, you got Clarence first. Isn't that great?
Clarence. Okay, Clarence on first. Okay.
I don't know. Third base.
All right.
No, well, I was waiting. You were talking about, branding. And that's not why I actually called. But wearing a suit and tie or respecting the institution is a brand. It's a brand.
Yes.
Because I was sitting here thinking, because it's don't judge the book by its cover.
Yes.
Fetterman right. might not dress the part, but he is the part very well. He's a good senator. There's a woman here in Canonsburg, drives an old Harley, tattooed practically from neck to toe, big old piercings. One of the best business women I ever know. If she ever walked into a board meeting, you would not take her seriously. But, you would think, but she's one of the best women I know. She's really good, owns property, runs her own business. It's incredible. every time.
So clothes don't make the man or woman.
They really
don't say anything about. And let's be clear. Mm-hmm. Think of all the people properly dressed.
I was going to bring out Matt Gaetz in a
exactly.
I was going to bring out Matt Gaetz.
Or in the house, or all
he's
the others who are properly dressed, who have no sense of respect for. Yeah. So the dress, what you're wearing seems rather superfluous to something more important, and yet it does signal something. No? See, you're saying absolutely not.
No, I think it does. I think it signals a lack of seriousness, and that is concerning.
Yeah, but it signals it, but does it say it? Because there's a seriousness about it. Serious about it. No matter what, he's a serious guy. And there's a young woman from Texas in Congress, a black woman, the big nails, the head movements, everything. But damn, is she a good congresswoman? Every time I hear her talk, and she's always bringing it and showing the hypocrisies of the Republicans in Congress. And there's a young man from Florida, another congressman, who has. I love his jackets. I would like to jump in this guy's closet. You know what I mean? He's not in the dark blue suits. He has the best sports jackets I've ever seen. He's just cool, It's like these young guys coming in with their style. They have a style. It's not traditional, but it's a style. The young woman.
Susan is saying there's no place for individual style in this.
No, I'm not saying you can be stylish and still be respectful. You know, a good-looking sport coat is not disrespectful.
I'm just saying that I'm pointing out all these individual styles, and they're still serious. And you go to Fetterman with his shorts. He's perfectly fit for the Halloween Senate, but he's a good senator, no matter what he's wearing. And I've seen him in suits. Every once in a while.
He looks odd, doesn't he?
But like it's that thing, where if you're going to go for, I don't know, the looks of a person, or what the way they dress, it's kind of the way you lose possibly good people who could be in the jobs. That's what I'm thinking now. And I'm getting up there. I'm over 60 now, but. I just got to accept that these young people, I'm used to listening to debates in a certain style, from watching C-SPAN since the 80s. These young people got a different style of their debates. They're not saying my good friend from over there, this, that. It's like these people are crazy. They're just saying it. They're lying. They're not saying, well, this is not exactly the truth. And I'm like, oh, this is a different time. And I'm just going to have to accept it. Just accept it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, Clarence, I thank you for that. I'm reminded there's somebody also on base. So we're going to...
The batter's up.
Yeah. Tomorrow?
What?
No, tomorrow's the pitcher's name. Learn your
No!
Learn your who's on first bit. All right.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
Thank you.
Who's on third? Okay.
Okay, we got another call. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I think everybody's right in this conversation. I mean, but
that's my problem. I do too. I think everybody's right.
I mean, it's like, dress shouldn't matter, but sometimes if you want to make a difference, you got to be mindful of where you're at. It's like, I don't believe in, in organized religion. I don't believe in God. My family, for the most part, is very religious, so there's a lot of church events. I'm not going to go there dressed in ripped jeans and T-shirt and give the figurative middle finger to them. It doesn't serve any purpose. And at the same time, if I want to have a conversation with anybody, is anybody going to take me serious if I'm dressed in that regard? So.
Well, that is partly where I come from. When I was working as a young attorney, I had to think very carefully about what I wore so as to present myself seriously and not as, the person that they were going to send for coffee, quite frankly. And there was a skill to it. And I looked at the other young women who were working as lawyers in New York at the time, and I saw the uniform and I adapted it. And made it mine, and that was the right thing to do. I wouldn't have stood a chance. Now, maybe things are a little bit better now, but I doubt it.
Well, listen, things change. I was in television.
Yeah,
what the women in television are wearing, and I'm thinking, are you friggin' kidding?
Oh, well, they just shouldn't do it.
They're wearing
eyelashes and cocktail dresses.
They're wearing dresses you would wear to a cocktail party, shoulders bared, and always really tight fitting and showing legs. And that's thank you to Fox News, by the way. They're the ones who showed that as a way to get more eyeballs, as if that's a shock. And all the other TV stations, jumped on it. And now we've got, cocktail parties. It's things change. That's all there is to it. And I frankly agree with you that I agree with everybody. This is a very complicated, everybody's making good points on both sides. Gigi's come in and said, I like Clarence's points. I understand what you and Susan are saying, but frankly, I've always found suits and ties to be ridiculous costumes. So I am glad that times are changing. I really just want a competent senator. I guess I don't care how they dress. Well, see, now there's something in that too. A suit and tie is a costume that was decided on. Used to be women had to be corseted and, up to our... Now, this stuff changes. It does.
I even agree with what your emailer said, because she's right. Things have to change. I mean, but the thing is, we're a shallow society, and if you don't look the part, people aren't going to take you serious, or they're going to attack you for it. I mean, it's even to the point where, if I go into a bar, I'm not going in a bar in a suit and tie. I'm not going to a ball game in a suit and tie, because for the exact same. Well, I mean, I want to be comfortable. That's the number one reason I'm going to dress how I dress.
But it's not the appropriate dress.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like, if I go into some of these bars and and I have a tie on and I ask for a martini, who's going to take me seriously? And I wouldn't.
No, you're drawing attention to yourself as not belonging. Right.
And just on the flip side, it's like
right. It makes sense to take in what is the venue. It's like, you tell tell a little kid, use your indoor voice. Right. Right. So we all have different, even language. I have certain lingo that I wouldn't use in some places and others and other. We constantly are changing the way we present ourselves so we fit in and are taken seriously and or don't offend.
Unless you're a woman of a certain age, and then it doesn't matter what you're wearing because you're invisible. So it's fine.
That's not. No. If you're a woman of a certain age, walk in a bikini and see how much you're not.
Oh my God! How dare she?
Well, I mean, and also, I mean, it all comes down to, and I think it's somewhat relatable. It's like the people who wear the big, huge flag pins and the crucifixes and everything. And for some reason, I guess that bespeaks patriotism and morality. When I see it, I actually I think the opposite. What are you overcompensating for, you asshole?
Well, exactly.
That's not right either.
Or why are you being so aggressive about it's sort of like, hey, look at me. It is right. There's a sort of an aggression.
Well, yeah, my cross is bigger than your cross.
Use red, white, blue all over their yard and house. It's like, okay.
Yeah, I know.
Really?
I know.
Like,
you must be a real American. Well, I defer to you.
I get scared when I see that. It's like, okay, don't accidentally pull in this driveway, you'll get shot. you know.
Well, right. I always feel as I'm walking the dog like I should leave little notes in those yards that make it very clear who they are, that I should just leave a note. Thank you for letting me know you're an asshole. I don't have to wait.
Okay.
Well, no, I got to walk past the side. Was Trump giving me a finger every morning? It's not, it's aggressive.
Yeah, it is. It's meant to offend.
Yeah, it's meant to offend. So why should,
So you don't give him the pleasure of knowing he offended you.
No, I just I give him the finger back and a big smile. I go, good morning.
Okay. Well, Roger, thank you. Thank you. I don't think
Have a good day.
Yeah, good to talk to you. Bye.
Sorry,
it is
Roger.
why it's so, it's why it's such a, this is why this was, it's a good topic because it's so slippery. It's just hard to.
Well, I think it's I can understand it happening. I know why it's happening, and it's because we have no standards anymore. We have declared there's no such thing as truth. We have declared that there's no such thing as respect. There's no general sense of decorum. Let's just admit that's where we are. I get it. I don't think it's appropriate, and I don't think it's good for us as a society.
No, I don't either. I mean, there is no sense of how one comports oneself in a civil kind of a way anymore, obviously. Places are what? Well, you have, I don't even want to get into it, Lauren Boebert at the theater.
Well, this is a question I have. It is a question for men. Do you really want to get openly pleasured in an audience surrounded by wouldn't you as a man find that embarrassing?
Who cares?
No, I just don't get I don't get the behavior. I don't get how come we don't even know that guy's name? I mean, who is he with her? They're just such despicable people.
People know who he is. He's actually a Democrat on top of it. Who is
apparently, then we know why he's with her. He likes to get pleasured in public and
whatever. I mean, it doesn't, there are people who live to draw attention to themselves. And I mean, and because of social media now, there's an entire generation growing up that thinks that is a value. I mean, that's a real value, to be known, to be noticed, to be, a celebrity. What's that?
I'm really sorry. It is a very large truck.
Okay, truck.
And that is backing up down my street and into my alley. It's going to...
we know it.
I'll go in the other room. Right. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Wow.
Welcome to Chicago, everybody.
Susan, those things are all over the place.
Oh, beeps?
Yes. I thought to be in Chicago. We all knew what it was. I just couldn't quite figure out why it was so loud.
Because it's a dark and rainy, cool morning in Chicago. So my windows are open, I live on an alley.
Okay, your windows are open. That's all we needed to know. That's it. Her windows are open. Okay. Here's another thing. I hate to get you all screaming again, but I do.
All of us, or just me in particular?
You.
Okay. Okay.
You.
Okay, me. I'll try not to scream.
Okay, do. This is on page 3 of the New York Times, I think a day or two ago. It's that little column. It's called Here to Help.
I have no idea because that's not the format that I read the Times in. So, okay.
Yeah, because you don't get the
That's so quaint, page 3.
Page 3. Yes, for us oldsters. And on Monday, it was yesterday, because on Mondays, it's a style person who answers people's questions about what's proper to wear and stuff like that.
How timely.
I am often so blown away by the questions, because my reaction is often, who cares? I mean, like, you are wasting time. This is what you want to know.
Somebody sat down and wrote a letter?
Yeah, about, what kind of, pants do I wear with a this or at a party for, it's just like, oh, come on.
Oh, come on.
Some people don't pay enough attention to what is the norm and how to, not draw attention to yourself and fit in comfortably and respectfully. And some people care too much, is what I think. So here's another one. And I say this because this is a question, Susan. How do you deal with visits to shoeless homes? Now, for those of you who don't even understand the question,
you don't live in a city.
Well, Susan, I live in a city.
It's a different kind of city. Pittsburgh.
No, it is not. It is not. This is what we're going to mix it up about. It's not. It's just a thing.
Yeah, well, in Chicago, almost every house is a shoeless house. And I will say that it's
you.
Well,
in your milieu, I don't think I doubt that that's true. Anyway, how do you deal with visits to shoeless homes? Here's the rest of the question. It's often a surprise, so you can't plan ahead with cute socks or a pedicure, not to mention that shoes are part of an outfit and keep your feet warm. I've been confronted with this more often in the last few years. That is true. This was never a thing until recently. And I'm never comfortable removing my shoes. Any advice? So I find that funny because it brings up the fact that you invite someone to your shoeless home and they're uncomfortable.
Well, I would say that the host or hostess is not behaving appropriately. If you are inviting people that have never been to your home and don't know your rules and you have not told them, then really what you should do is have a basket of slippers or socks. You should have stuff for people to put on. And what I do is I walk around. I carry a pair of socks with me. Just a little pair of half socks because my feet get cold.
I like it the old way. You walk into a person's house, you're wearing your shoes, and you're not looked askance at like you brought vermin in with you. Now, I actually don't like it. There's somebody who comes to my house and always takes her shoes off. And she just sort of leaves them there by the front door, which annoys me. There's shoes like all over the place. What did God create vacuums for? I mean, it's not like they're bringing in.
I'm just telling you how much dog poop is on the average floor in Chicago just from walking in off the sidewalk and into your house. And people aren't doing, it's dirtier here than it is in Green Bay. I promise you. When my windows are open, there's black stuff on the windowsills, and in Wisconsin, that doesn't happen.
I don't know. I think when did this start? What the hell started this? Is it the pandemic? I think this is fallout from COVID. Because this was not what...
I don't know. My kids have each done it for like decades. I was the holdout because I wasn't raised like that either, but now I'm getting used to it. And I have all sorts of strategies. I keep shoes. I keep literally house shoes at my kid's house so that I can have shoes on that just don't go outside.
I think it's absurd. I do.
There's whole countries like this, like Japan.
Well, I know, but that's their culture. It's not American.
And I do know lots of people that keep baskets with slippers next to the door, and they're all clean and they're washed.
Oh God, the woman says, I mean, here, this is what's funny.
What's the advice?
The answer is, I will never forget the experience of dressing to go out in a favorite pair of flared trousers that needed to be worn with high heels to achieve the full lengths for miles effect of legs for miles effect, to arrive at someone's house and be asked to remove my heels. At which point I had to roll up my hems and felt like a hobbit. Anyway, her advice is,
don't buy pants that are 6 inches longer than your leg.
No, because you do buy pants in terms of how high the heel is. Anyway, as to why the practice, she asked why this all of a sudden might be on the rise. There's a theory that going shoeless inside is potentially healthier, since shoes track in germs. Oh, dear Lord. Then there's the argument that it simply keeps the house cleaner. Those are the things that it's somehow now all of a sudden, and I have to tell you, as somebody who now wears a brace on that I can't take my shoes off and get my shoe back on. This for me is a real hazard. I can't do it. So what am I supposed to do? Leave?
No, you get a special accommodation.
Okay, I get a special accommodation.
We'll put booties over your shoes.
Okay, I just have to tell you, I think this is much ado about nothing. It's ridiculous. And
times change. Isn't that the theme of the show? Times change. No, it's not.
You spent 70 years of your life never having people take their shoes off when they came into your house. Do you think it makes a damn bit of difference? And you don't blame it on Chicago or a city. Because it's bullshit. I've been in your neighborhood. I've never stepped in dog shit.
No fair saying I can't argue what I'm arguing.
What? I hate it. And let us be clear. I actually, this is how strongly I feel about it. I really hate it. And I sent Susan's daughter.
That's right. I was just going to mention that.
I know. I sent her, because I saw it in a catalog and thought, oh, this is perfect. And it's the Queen from the
Alice in Wonderland.
Alice in Wonderland. And the one that says, off with your head. For cards and stuff. Off with their heads. And it's the Queen. It's a mat. Doormat. It's the picture of the Queen, and she's saying, off with your shoes. And I thought, there it is. I love the fact that it had that imperious killer queen telling people, off with your shoes. Because I sort of react that way to it. I don't like it. And I think, okay.
I'm waiting. Well, I'm just compliant, and I'm waiting to break a hip on somebody's highly polished floors.
Okay, and all right, yeah, you just caved because your kids, for some reason, have lost their minds. Hello, are you there?
I am here. This is Kurt from Swissvale.
Hi.
Hi. How are you?
We're good, I think.
Hey, I have to tell. Since you got on shoes, I have to tell you a few things about that. One, if you sneak into open houses to snoop around your neighbors' homes, they very often now give you little booties to put on.
Yeah, little booties. Yep.
So that seems to have started with COVID. I don't think that was around before.
I think this is all COVID related.
Well, I don't know. My next door neighbors are a young. One of the mother is Filipino. They've had 3 kids in the time they've lived next door, and I think it's their culture, plus they've had a baby like constantly as long as they've lived here, crawling around on the floor. So, and they have dogs in the yard.
And
so
you know what? So they have dogs inside.
I know the dogs track it in, but it may not be about the bird.
Wait a minute. The same people that make you take off your shoes wipe their dog's feet before they come in the house.
Oh, I wouldn't be
screw these people. I am so sick of this shit.
But I still think in her case it's a cultural thing.
Okay, I'm not kidding, by the way. That's the truth.
Let me tell you. Okay, well, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of a vacuum? I'm telling you, a broom. My house looks perfectly fine.
Oh, well, there's the key word. Looks.
I have to tell you, though, I was dating a man once who, well, actually dated him we were together for 9 years or 6 years or something. Who knows?
So it wasn't once. Okay.
Well, yeah, his mother was a clean freak. And the first time we went over there, he explained this to me and told me, you should take off your shoes and walk around because she's very particular about things. And and this was childhood trauma for him and a whole bit. But anyway, so to be respectful, I walk in. He says, just take off your shoes and leave them on the rug by the door. And I thought, okay. But the other thing she did was, for people that might not take their shoes off, she kept that rug by the door wet. So that as you walked across it, it would pull the dirt off your shoes. Well, I didn't know that part. So I'm walking around the house in my socks, and I happen to walk by the front door, and my socks get soaking wet. Now I'm tramping.
Now you have feet marks all over the house.
And my socks are wet, and it's the first time I'm at my boyfriend's mother's house, and I'm trying to figure out what the heck I'm supposed to do because I've got wet socks now.
Well, no wonder that only lasted for 9 years.
Yeah, I gotta say, the first time I met my in-laws, it was because they found my underwear in their bed. So I win.
Shame on you.
Well, no, perfectly innocent. I had done laundry and made that bed, and my underpants had stuck by static electricity to the sheets. True story. And in fact, what happened is my mother-in-law shook out the sheet. The underpants landed in my father-in-law's open briefcase, and a fight ensued about what were those ladies' underpants doing in his briefcase.
Oh, dear God in heaven, help me.
And I had never met these people, and my future husband picked me up at the airport. I had been visiting in Green Bay, and said, now we're going. He said, did you leave anything at my house? And I said, no. And he said, are you sure? And I said, no. And I knew he was pulling my leg. And then, and he told me what had happened. And he said, and now we're going to meet my parents. And I said, no, we aren't. There's absolutely no reason why I ever have to meet those two people. Forget it. And off we went to meet those people, and I had a whole long car ride to figure out what I was going to do. And I walked in and with my hand outstretched and said to my future mother-in-law, how do you do, Mrs. Nutzel? I'm not used to being preceded by my underpants.
Good line.
And she cracked up, and I was in like Flynn.
Who was Flynn, by the way, and what was he in?
It must have been, I don't know, a baseball player, right?
I don't know.
James Coburn ruined that for me. I always thought it was in like Flint.
Oh, there you go. In like Flint. That's right, too. Okay, you. Hey, thanks a lot.
One more thing, though.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, well, I guess two real quick ones, though. I mean, Lauren Boebert, nobody even mentions, but the man she was with wasn't her husband, who she's still married to.
Right.
No, she's divorced.
Not yet.
No, divorcing.
Yeah, she's still married.
Oh, big deal. Divorcing.
I
she's
know,
38.
but still,
she's a
40 years ago, that would have been part of the scandal. Now it's like nothing.
Yeah, right. Okay, what's the other?
Well, Lauren Boebert has said the election was rigged.
Oh, right.
You are so, that is worthy of Clarence. He called earlier.
Right.
Who's the guy that calls in with the groan jokes?
That's Clarence.
That's Clarence.
No, there's another dude that always comes in with the really.
I don't know. The erection was rigged. Get out of here.
Okay, bye.
Dear God. Oh.
No, the conservatives are a little upset about Nome too, whatever her name is, and the governor. And God, it's these tastes. I mean, Corey Lewandowski.
They're horrible people.
Just horrible
Gigi
people.
Gigi wrote back. Hi again. We've been a shoeless house for years and years. If you have allergies, doctors do recommend not wearing outdoor footwear inside.
Yeah, it is frequently a medical issue.
Yeah, I'll tell you what else is a medical issue. People getting so crazy about germs is why a lot of kids today are allergic to everything and anything because they don't get too clean a house is not a healthy house.
I know you aren't even supposed to change your sheets all that often because we're supposed
to build up our immune system.
Yeah.
I mean, what is going on with this clean crap?
Well, Lynn, don't worry, and I won't worry either.
I have a lifetime dispensation for your house and your kid's house.
Yes, you do.
I do. But because it's like I'm a handicapped driver.
No, I know. You're
right.
Yeah.
But, whatever. But even if I didn't have that, I wouldn't want. I don't know. So Gigi goes on to say there are a lot of cultures in which wearing outdoor footwear inside is considered to be rude. But we're not one of them, which is all.
Well, we're on our way to becoming one.
No,
that's the point.
Bullshit.
No, why? Well, wait a minute. Why can they wear shorts in the Senate but take off your shoes to come into my house is suddenly bullshit? You are always drawing these lines when you go.
I don't agree with either. I don't. I don't like rules. Let's just put it that way. You know what? I don't like rules. And the fact that houses have rules. You know what this reminds me of? Remember when people used to have plastic over their living room?
Sure, Aunt Florence.
Furniture? Aunt Florence did. What is the point of having a beautiful sofa if people can't sit on it because you don't want to sit on that plastic?
No, your legs, especially if you were a girl that had to wear skirts. Because your legs stuck.
Ridiculous, and it makes no. It's like what
have you seen those people that buy that real expensive luggage and then they put the plastic covers over it? And I feel the same way about that. I go, it's luggage, guys.
I'm becoming so much of a misanthrope. I can't stand. Gigi goes on. Some of our friends from other lands keep slippers by the door.
Right.
I have friends from other lands, and trying to think what they keep by the door. Something better than slippers, I hope. It's funny you bring up how to deal with visiting a shoeless house because our friends from different lands ask us to deal with having people come to their house who don't know how to ask us how to deal with people coming to their house who don't know to take their shoes off. So on their end, they are worried about offending Americans who come to their house and walk in their shoes. Now, if I were to go to a home and I saw all the shoes by the door, it's a good hint. It's a good hint that maybe I need to take mine off as well.
Or at least to ask the question.
But I don't know. What are these people? Are you all these people who believe cleanliness is next to godliness or something? Jesus Christ. Milton is getting in here. My son, who was not raised in a shoeless home, has two small children who are always on the floor playing or reading or watching TV. And that's where they should be, and they should be picking up germs so they won't get alert. Okay, I'll go on. He and his girlfriend prefer that visitors remove their shoes. Oh, God. He keeps a small box full of hospital slippers at his front door next to a shoe rack. Yeah, and like the lady said who was asking the question, I get all dolled up to go to someone's house, and I end up wearing those hideous blue hospital slippers with my outfit. because people are overreacting to the
I got news for you. There's other reasons that people don't want women walking in their houses in stiletto heels, and that's because the pressure leaves little holes all over people's wood floors.
I don't know anyone who wears stiletto heels anymore.
Well, that's because we're of a certain age, but that's the fact. I found that really amusing.
Okay, well, Milton goes on while his son and it does not insist upon shoe removal. They do make it known that is the preference of him and his girlfriend. Although it was difficult to adjust to initially, yeah, you did what Susan did. You capitulate. I quickly became accustomed to it. The problem for me is removing winter boots, then remembering that there's something in the car I forgot to bring in. Ha! This requires that the ritual putting winter boots back on, which requires more than the trip to the car. This is the only time I find it well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm putting my shoed foot down.
I'm going to go so far as to say that the recent onslaught of the shoes that you can tie but slip into and slip out of, there's several different brands now, and are actually designed because everybody's slipping in and out of their shoes, and this way you don't have to retie. It's not the chore. You can just step in and step out. And I agree with Milton that the problem is that you're in and then you go, I got to go out to the car. So I now have a wardrobe of slip in, slip off tying shoes.
My head's exploding. Okay, Milton also, in answer to in Flynn, it means to be immediately successful or to have achieved acceptance. The idiom carries the connotation of being in a state where one will continue to find success. It came into use in the American Army in the 1940s, though its origin is murky. Most believe it is somehow tied to the actor Errol Flynn, who always portrayed a successful swashbuckler in his movies. Yeah, he was in, like Flynn. I always thought it was sexual. The fact that the word in and the name Flynn rhyme probably helped to make this phrase popular. Another small faction believes that the Flynn in like Flynn refers to New York political boss Edward J. Flynn, whose candidates never lost. Both theories might be true. Perhaps even men from New York entered the Army during World War II using a local colloquial phrase alluding to a political boss, but the phrase was picked up by others with the idea of invoking Errol Flynn. Who the? No.
In other words, it can mean different things to different people.
Oh,
but
God.
I meant what it meant, which was that I had achieved immediate acceptance.
Oh, geez. All right, well. I got grumpy.
I'm sorry.
Well, it's also because I have to go to the bathroom.
And that, folks, is the show.
Guys, I have suffered a lot for in this job. I have many a time. And I have been suffering for some time in this one, which accounts for some of my, grumpiness today. Some, but not all. And I still don't like taking my shoes off. If you are from a culture in which that's it, I have respect for that. If you're some American who's just decided to adopt it, fuck you. I'm sick of it. I'm sorry. That was strong. But
that was strong.
I know. I'm struggling here.
Just go to the bathroom.
I know. I gotta go.
Bye.
Help. Okay. Bye, Susan.
Bye.
Bye. Goodbye. Bye, guys. Seriously. Emergency. Goodbye.
Lynn Cullen Live, Monday through Thursday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and archived at pghcitypaper.com. The opinions expressed on Lynn Cullen Live are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the viewpoints of Pittsburgh City Paper or its advertisers.